All right, thank you
Unless
guys.
we're waiting on more.
No, no. We'll just go ahead and have Orillion start off again. So, talking about integration into blockchain with gaming and such, and then afterwards we'll be doing a Q&A after the live stream is jumping on over to others. So if you have questions, feel free to stay and ask either on Twitch, here in the chat, or through voice. So Aurelian.
All right. So I'll talk a bit about how to integrate blockchain in your current game as a more conventional way. Blockchain is very suited to do asset management in your game, just like asset management in real life. Asset management means your money, of course, so in-game currencies can be used, as well as other types of assets such as your gear, your and maybe crafting reagents. So, for example, ore and stuff like that. The downside of blockchain is somewhat that it's not super fast, as in it doesn't really lend itself for real-time applications. So, for example, a real-time strategy game is somewhat complicated to build, but it does lend itself perfectly for turn-based games or auto chess style games where you submit a team and the other player also submits a team, kind of like how Splinterlands works, where you both submit a deck of cards, and they battle it out by some deterministic rules. Other types of games that are also really great for blockchain, at least what I think, is management style games. For example, if you manage a sports team online against each other, then that's also a great way to get started with integrating blockchain in your team. Yeah, those are kind of the high level application you can use blockchain for. If anyone has some questions or Eoghan wants to continue.
And just really quick, Aurelian, for people who are just joining us on the stream, and since we restarted the dev panel, can you just do a quick little intro for us, since you're part of, and just like talk about how you're part of the Splinterlands team and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm the dev lead for Splinterlands team, for the team that's working on the Splinterlands validator, and that's a fancy word for an open source tool that people can work with, can run themselves to validate SPS transactions. So that it's becoming decentralized. In essence, it's our own layer 2 implementation on top of the Hive blockchain to work with Splinterlands assets.
Awesome, awesome. Send him some emotes, guys. Send him some love.
I think his bucket is full. Keep going, it's overflowing.
Some people on the Twitch stream wanted to see the whole audience. I hope you guys can clearly see it over here. We've got a mix of gooeys, we got a mix of people. We have someone with ramen on their head, someone with like a knight helmet, someone with headphones drinking potion. We have me with a koala and Ulrich Stormbringer.
Thanks for the shot.
Thank you, really. So Owen, he's from Dogira. He's the lead dev on Dogira, and he'll just be speaking about planning a blockchain game, pretty much, to make sure it makes sense over long term.
Yeah, so I suppose my stuff is going to be more about the theory and how we came to where we are at the moment. So I guess first off, hi all. My name is Owen, and I'm the lead developer and the project director on Dogira. So when I was setting my own roots in crypto in 2013 as the first core developer on Dogecoin, believe it or not, my personal interest was focused around utility development, and in particular game development, with early crypto gaming platforms such as Satoshi Dice, laying the earliest foundations for what would be possible within the space. So unfortunately, the high cost, slow speed, and heavy centralization requirements on older blockchain protocols proved a constant thorn in the side of developers in this area, including myself. Alongside game development tools being in a middling stage of growth, with Flash currently dying off and Unity only really being new on the scene, options were already limited. And the discontinuation of NP API support in browsers also meant that Unity's prototype web player, some other cool stuff like the Unreal web player, they're all on the way out. Everything had to go to HTML5 and WebGL. So mixed with a crypto market in 2013, which was about to enter into a very long bear season, public interest waning, and most of us developers all being voluntary between work, school, college, university, etc. Both the timing and technology wasn't really in the right place for blockchain gaming to truly grip onto any aspect of the market. In short, at this point, I personally saw crypto as at that time simply being a very expensive way to spend electricity. And I mean, I certainly spent it myself. I had my GTX 680 set up mining Dogecoin for months. So fast forward almost a decade to today, and things have massively changed, as they tend to with technology. While I'm personally a little less nimble and a little bit more grey-haired, blockchain tech has taken the complete opposite direction as that. It's advanced to the point where trustless and decentralized computing is not only a core principle, but it's demanded through the principles of Web3. Modern networks like Polygon have focused on ensuring that transactions target low cost, high speed, and with breakthroughs like zero knowledge proofs, we're now standing on the foundations that will move us on from, as Sir William was saying, um, at the point right now, we kind of, we have turn-based gaming or we pre-computed matches, but we're kind of standing on the foundations that will actually move us towards real time without any actual sacrifice involved. So while technology is catching up at speed, the design philosophy remains in its early stages. In having worked across a couple of enterprise companies like Microsoft to mid-sized gaming studios and as an indie game developer over the past decade, nothing's really exciting me more than seeing the birth of a brand new school of thought in play to earn gaming. Similar to the days of early 2D, early 3D, early mobile gaming, you would be foolish to think that you could simply transition the existing rule sets and design philosophies from one standard onto the next. So, as an example, when designing for in game economies, as a standard, it can be assumed in traditional gaming that you're working in a closed ecosystem. It can also be assumed that many rules can be hidden or kept from the player. That's a practice which has resulted in very real regulations on systems such as loot boxes. It is assumed in almost every game that in-game assets such as characters, weapons, items, and otherwise are simply leased by the players. They're not actually owned. None of those standards hold true for when it comes to Web3 gaming or the play-to-earn paradigm. So this is why Dogira was founded as a project which focuses both on the DeFi and development aspects of crypto while launching an in-house games development studio and publishing platform. Our development philosophy revolves around gaming first, making use of the blockchain and understanding where it can benefit experiences and create new experiences, and allowing both our internal studio and the studios publishing under our banner to focus on experimentation and exploration in what's essentially a brand new space, and with respect for that space, rather than trying to treat it like another solved industry. So currently we're rolling up on the launch of our first in-house title on Polygon called Gooey's. And the biggest shift we've found so far is that design, in particular economic and NFT generation design, it took up about 90% of our work period. And coupled with this, we've opted to release our first iteration of Gooey's essentially under an early access client, which allows us to work directly with our community and involve the experience to the taste of the players and what we actually find to be fun as we develop it, while also ensuring that our core contract can launch on mainnet, forcing a proactively designed economy to sustain both long-term growth of our own ecosystem and the Gooey's ecosystem, while maintaining the flexibility needed to ensure that we can also sustain the fun factor as we continue to build. So you can check out my Twitter under the handle RootPew, or if you're in the crowd, you can just click on me and go direct from there. And you can see a quick peek of some of the economic planning that took place while designing Gooey's. In particular, noting that rather than following the traditional live service gaming release of planning both for catastrophic success and catastrophic failure, Web3 game development required us to instead investigate on the many, many edge cases that can result from what's essentially an economy that we can only launch with a guiding hand before it enters into the control of the players. If you'd like to get in on our early access program, Gooey's will launch for public minting in just under a week on March 25th. You can check out the full studio at dogira.net. You can also join our Discord and Telegram communities. That's dogira.net. And of course, check out Gooey's itself at gooeys.io. So thank you for your time. I hope you're all enjoying Dygycon, and I look forward to any questions you have in our QA panel after the talk concludes. So yeah, thank you. Back over to you, Skylar.
Awesome, thank you, and thank you both Orillion and Owen for that, guys. Show Owen some love with some emojis, send him some hearts, fill up his bucket, let his cup overflow. It's St. Paddy's Day, and he's Irish. He's missing his pints, so send him on over some pub love. There you go. Wow, that is a lot.
Would much rather be here than in a pub in Ireland on Patrick's Day. You don't understand how awful that is unless you ever actually do it. Just falling through people that might drink once a year and decide they have to get their whole year's worth of drinking in one day.
Oh no.
It's not no fun.
Yeah.
It looks like your Gooey's drinking some coffee, or did you actually mix something in there that's not coffee?
It's goo. He mixed some goo in there. It's a nice little
Make sure I
additive.
don't.
Wait,
I won't-
okay, well hopefully no Gooey's were harmed during that process. I don't...
Just try not to drink too much before you kiss the Blarney stem.
Oh, you're gonna have to drink a lot if you want to. I mean, that's a rock that's just been sitting out with people's germs on it, and you need antiseptic for that.
I always have questions. If you want to let me go first. Sure.
Yeah, Pete, go
Yeah,
ahead.
if you're open to it. So yeah, these collaborations are quite outstanding. What is that inspiration? Like, what's that process look like when you're thinking, I really want to work with XYZ organization for XYZ reasons, just for those that can't do dev speak. What does that look like for you guys? Just like an opportunity pops up and you jump at it, or is it more of like a thoughtful exercise with the team?
Yeah, so there's kind of two sides to it. I mean, there's one side where we would kind of actively seek, we want to work with more people, we want to see what's going on in the space, so we would actually go and look at, what's fun at the moment, as in, who's building what looks good. The other side of it then is we would often kind of just stumble across something that would look very cool, like a project that would grab our interest, and we would simply reach out and ask, is there anything we can do together? Now, there often does need to be, obviously some level of relevance to what we're doing. If you look at the studios that we collaborate with, nearly all of them are either already in games development, such as Jupiter Lighthouse, who we're actually publishing now, and then other ones are jumping in pretty new to kind of the play to earn gaming paradigm, and for some of them, they're also coming in new enough to actual games development. So for us, it's kind of, what can we actually do for you? As there's a lot of kind of things in crypto that we find is just sticking two names together and kind of, meld the communities a little bit. We would look more so to see, what can we actually do for you? Like if you looked at Hanzo is a project that we collaborated with, they had a absolutely fantastic designer and artist on board with them. They were building their NFTs put out for launch, but they didn't have an actual blockchain developer who was able to put together the ERC 721 contract, get all the generative images up on board. And we had our NFT kit, which pretty much, we built that to do nearly everything for you. And we can work on it at the same time to put in any particular rules that you need in your NFT kit. Say, if you have a certain pair of shoes that should never go with a certain outfit, stuff like that. We can put in all the rules like that, and they can stick to just pretty much compiling a spreadsheet of how they want everything to look, and then just sending us on the actual layers, and the logic all runs from there. So yeah, for us, it's often, what can we do for you, and how will we be able to work together in the long term? And that's kind of what we really look at, that as we've seen kind of as the market in crypto has gone up and down over the last while, some projects didn't quite stick around through the down period, and we're looking for the ones that do stick out through that and are actually building products which have real value on top of them and have really engaged communities. Like we look for the long-term stuff that's going to be around in a couple of years' time, and hopefully we'll be able to help them reach that point.
Yeah, those are really detailed answer. I really appreciate that. Let's open it up to somebody want to hop on mic.
Hi guys, my name's NFT Andy. I'm addicted to NFTs, like us all.
Yes.
Oh, really? I
like
didn't tell.
No, I really like what you guys are putting together here. This is pretty sick. Like I got my stream in here as well. We're getting some people in here. We all really like it. It's pretty neat. I think the possibilities of this is insane. Like you could open up this venue to comic book collection, like comic book conventions, just anything that has a base of users that want to get out there. I think this is sick because they can just make a profile and you could host this around anything and get people into NFTs. So it's super awesome to see the work. And I don't know how there's 30 people in here not trolling and yelling when people are talking, because it took everything of me to follow the rules, but I had to respect it because everyone else is. So yeah,
I threatened them with the man hammer.
You guys are awesome, man. This is pretty
I
sick
know.
what you're putting together.
Oh, appreciate you. Yeah, couldn't do it without, you know, the Dogira team and the Gooey's project. They, you know, they've been putting a lot of effort into this, doing a really good job at keeping it a secret as much as, you know, and from personal experience, so many amazing projects that are being worked on in tandem with the efforts that we're doing here. We're just like a small piece of that larger pie. But it really takes a lot of effort to not just shout from the mountaintops like this next project, and we're so excited about it, but we can't say anything.
Right.
I mean, that's really painful sometimes to have to keep that, you know, under wraps. But we're really excited. When is the release date again? If you share that with everyone, March 20. Or, I'm sorry, April.
Yeah, so March 25th is when we have our public mint, and yeah, it's going to be April then when we do our early access release and actually get people playing the game.
So a question for Owen and Orillion. Do you guys have a specific example of something that had to be planned for either games, Splinterlands, Validator, or for Gooey's, something specific that had to be planned as like a just in case, you know, it gets really popular or what have you?
Yeah, Aurelian, do you want to hop on that one?
Yeah. We need to plan for the future, as in things can change, for example. So the software needs to be prepared so it can be upgraded in the future. And you need to plan in beforehand how you're going to communicate that people are going to upgrade their software. Else you get forks, for example, in layer 2, and that can be problematic. Splinterlands itself is partially planned and partially organically growing. It's mostly a learning experience for the entire team. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. We went from last year when it was me, Aggie, and maybe like 10 other people on the team. And Aurelian, do you remember what they said last time about how many people are on the team now?
Hardpoint said there was like over 100 people.
Yeah. And so we're going through those growing pains, you know, kind of like in this growing process. But it's definitely a roller coaster. It's really fun, and we get to meet a lot of really great people. I'm pretty sure every single person on our team also plays Splinterlands.
I've got more, guys. Keep it coming. Say awesome things, and I will celebrate it.
And you guys at Dogira have a very talented artist working with you guys.
Yeah.
I wish he was here.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah. So I think I've taken only about an hour away from the IDE, and I think she's insistent that she wants to just keep on working on some of the last remnants of the artwork that we're putting into the actual NFT generation. But yeah, she's we're incredibly lucky to be working with her. She's incredibly talented, and a lot of the Gooey's design process is directly from herself. I mean, it's one of the great things about working as a game studio is that you don't have to be say a classical game designer. You don't have to go and study game design in university or anything like that. That often, you know, people that are working on the art, people that are, you know, working on the just general code, or even people that are just working straight in marketing and stuff like that, can come up with some really fantastic ideas that you can prototype out and, you know, do a fun factor check on it. And that is one of the big things that Mary does. She's fantastic for kind of coming up with additional ideas that we can insert into our experiences. So yeah, massive love to Mary, and hopefully we'll have her up here for the next one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know she's been hard working, both on social media and just behind closed doors. She's mad at work. I'm pretty sure she's just like me, not even sleeping.
Yeah, but my advice to her, and now to you as well, is try to sleep every now and then. Your body will thank you for it. But similarly, yeah, I understand as well. I do the exact same. It's very.
We need other people to tell us. If we ourselves tell us, we'll just forget and we'll get into the zone, and then we'll look outside the window and like, oh, it's morning. What day is it?
Yeah, and that's a big problem. We're awful at practicing what we preach. We can tell each other to go to bed, but that's about it.
Awesome. And I know we have only like a minute on the live stream here before we head over to the Green Rabbit talk, but I wanted to just thank you guys again, Orillion, Owen, Skylar, organizing all this, and too bad we couldn't get Michael in here from Gala Games, but he was interested, and maybe we'll have another time where he can join us.
Yeah, no, absolutely my pleasure. Thanks a million for having us.
And forgive me for butchering your name earlier. Don't hate me. I had
No,
2-hour nap.
It's all good. I've had over 30 years of experience with people butchering my name, so don't feel bad at all.
What's the worst one?
Worst one? Let's see. Well, I've gotten like, Eoghan and Eoghan and Eoghan and stuff like that. I think the worst really was actually when it was with one of the companies I worked with, and I kind of had to correct him a few times on my name, and it was always Eoghan, and it was never really kicking me in. It was a different mispronunciation every time. So I just kind of went by whatever name he was kind of bestowing me that day. So, we'd be doing professional meetings with a lot of our partners who would have spoken to me as Owen, and then they would hear this guy who I work with calling me Eoghan or Johan, and then they would think that they were the ones who were pronouncing it wrong all along. So they start calling me Eoghan or Owen. So it's a vicious circle.
Yeah. I hate to leave you guys so soon. I'm pretty sure there might be other people who have questions for you guys that you guys can take care of it. And Skylar, you have something regarding whitelisting, and we also have a couple to give away, and we gotta get the ball rolling.
Oh yeah,
sorry
absolutely.
about that.
No,
yeah,
you're
Pete,
fine.
Yeah, so let's Pete, we're gonna join Green Rabbit, and we will tune back in to the live stream.
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to check out the Gooey's booth in the Gooey's room. Has all the links on there. And of course, Orillion from Splinterlands. I'm sure you guys have your own booth, considering Dygycon is a Splinterlands event. So go check out both of those.
I'm sure Waffles getting those everywhere.
Awesome. Appreciate it, you guys. All right, I'm teleporting out.
Cool. Thanks a million, folks. Yeah, no, if there's no questions, I'm happy to leave it there.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Owen. Thanks, Orillion. And thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Again, if you want to check out Gooey's, go check it out. Gooey's booth.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, folks. And thanks a million for joining us, Orillion.